Welcome back to the eForge podcast, where overwhelmed operators become empowered leaders and where we forge businesses, influence, and legacies that last. I'm your host, Cory Long. Today's episode is about something simple, but most people avoid it. Taking action. My guest today is Charlie Cook, an entrepreneur who owns and operates multiple businesses, including Mountain Land, Virginia, and crop processors. Charlie is also part of our eForge group and recently joined us at our live event here in Lubbock. While a lot of people left that event with ideas, Charlie left with momentum. He picked up the phone while we were at the event, made a call, cold call, out of the blue, landed a new distributor right here in town for one of his businesses that he has. He wasn't overthinking. There's no waiting. There's no perfect plan, just action. Today, we're talking about what it looks like to actually execute, how to move when most people hesitate, why momentum comes from doing, not thinking. This is a real conversation about business, growth, getting out of our own way. Guys, please welcome Charlie Cook to the show. And Charlie, thanks so much for hopping on with me today. This is going to be fun, man. You and I are going to have some fun. And I know you got a lot of stories to share too. So this is going to be fun. Give people an idea, like how in the world do you own a mountain in Virginia that you're selling? Where did all this come from? Because I know your dad, like this was a dream of his. You guys bought land. Like give our listeners an idea of where you came from and how you're doing what you're doing today.
So first of all, thank you for having me on the podcast today. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And as far as how we got our start, I guess it goes all the way back to my grandfather. And as far as the mountain land goes, my grandfather bought a piece of land in Greensboro, North Carolina, and everybody told him flat out, said, Fred, that land won't do anything. It's just a big old marsh pit. And he kept on filling it with dirt and filling it with dirt. And everybody kept on saying it. And Grandpa would say, yeah, I guess so. Well, eventually I-40 come through Greensboro. And they built an exit right there off where he had that land. Texaco gave him $89,000 for that piece of land in 1963.
That's a lot of money, man. I don't know what that is in today's money, but that was a lot of money back then.
It was. And Grandpa grew up not too far from Fancy Gap, still in North Carolina, but Stokes County, North Carolina, or Pilot Mountain, North Carolina. But anyway, he come up to Fancy Gap and he started buying up property, started developing. But in Grandpa kept 1,500 acres going all the time and buying more. And he would do some big farms, and he put in a few developments where he cut up over 100 tracts in each development and things like that. Grandpa passed away in 1988. My dad was he was in the auto parts business. He went in the auto parts business right out of college. He was an independent dealer for CarQuest Auto Parts for years. They did motor books back in those days. He was on a plane trip to California, do a motor book show, and a magazine article on the hydroelectric industry. When he did, there was an old grist mill behind their home on the Deep River in North Carolina, and that hydro plant had not been run since the 1800s. He went in there and dug the turbines out, and I was about 2 years old then. He dug the turbines out, went in there and put it back online, liked it so much he built 7 more. I tell you all that to lead up to this right here. When Dad come out of college, Grandpa was ready to retire. And he told Daddy flat out, he said, you need to come to the mountain, just take over what I'm doing. And Daddy said, no, I'm a hot rodder and I love doing this stuff and I'm going to go into parts business. Well, Grandpa sure didn't turn away from him. Grandpa got in there and helped him get everything going and all that stuff. And he went in all the parts business. When Grandpa passed away, Daddy came up to the mountain and started settling some things and working Grandpa's estate and all that sort of thing. He was the executor for the estate. He fell back in love with Fancy Gap. He was still doing hydro. He come up here to the mountain. He started buying up property. And the funniest part about it is guy that was partners with my grandpa in some things became partners with my dad.
Oh, my God.
And doing the developments up here. So we wound up buying 600 acres up here on the mountain, and we cut 5 developments out of that. I lost count at 300 lots that we've cut out over the since the year 2000.
That's a lot.
And then, we been selling property out of that ever since. We were in the I call it the early 2000s, 2000 to 2010, the early 2000s. We were building a lot of spec houses to open up new areas. We've always been in the land business. And we would build spec houses to open up new areas and things like that. And it went nuts. Everybody everybody was log crazy and green tin crazy back then. So we built over 40 houses in these developments.
Wow.
And then other people that's built their own house and all that sort of thing. But we did all the grading, building, road paving. We had our own surveying people and county, got all the maps drawn out, did the planning board meetings, board of supervisor meetings, all those things. And just did everything ourselves. I call it the poor man's way of developing.
Yeah. That's a lot of tracks, though. I mean, you think about all the spec homes that you guys have built, all the tracks, all the land through the years, and with your grandfather doing it, your dad doing it, now you doing it. Like, this is a legacy, man. This is something, you grew up in the auto parts business. I grew up in the auto paint business. Man, I grew up pushing a broom around our store when I was little bitty and taking out the trash and doing whatever dad wanted me to do. I don't know.
Absolutely.
We lived at the store. I lived at the family business when I was little. I didn't know any different. And then as I got older, I started working there. And then eventually, when we left there, I always thought about the family things that we've always done. Like, I remember helping dad do all kinds of craziness through the years with that business. It was a lot of fun. So you guys built the spec houses and did all that. And I know right now you're just in, most of what you're doing right now is raw land, or you guys do a little bit of the development and sell the land off for somebody to either have a vacation home or build their own house out there for a dream home or whatever it might be. And it's all in Fancy Gap now, right?
Yes, It is all in Fancy Gap, Virginia, right off the Blue Ridge Parkway. We're within 1 mile of the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yeah, and you were showing some pictures the other day. You could literally see like Raleigh or something. I don't know. That was a little crazy. Like the distance that you can view from some of those tracks that are up there is kind of nutty.
It's wild.
Cool. Beautiful country.
Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Oh, it's Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
Winston-Salem,
North Carolina is 57 miles as the crow flies from us. And clear day, naked eye, you can pick out every single skyscraper in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
That's craziness.
And pilot mountains out there where like you can reach and grab it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I know you were posting in the group the other day that you guys were cutting a waterfall out through the middle of the property. Mm-hmm. And you've got like fishing ponds. I know you keep trying to talk me into coming to buying some property up there. But you guys if you keep posting all these pictures of all of the rivers and the other stuff, especially right now, the dirt's blowing here in Lubbock. So I would much rather have that than the dirt. Y'all were cutting like a waterfall and doing all this stuff. So some of the properties you guys are putting roads in and you're doing all kinds of things too. Talk a little bit about like, what does it take to develop? I know this is something that you guys know inside and out. What does it take to develop a piece of property like that?
So you would start by buying a tract of land, a full tract of land, let's say maybe 200 acres. And then you would go in, and what we always do is we have our own dozers and excavators and all that stuff. We go in there and start lightly bulldozing with a smaller dozer and pushing old logging roads out where all the property we've ever bought has been logged in the past years and years ago. So there's old logging roads and things like that. We make those roads into the main roads of our developments.
Okay.
We turn those into that. So we go clean those roads out and start figuring out where we're going to bring property lines to the center of the roads. If there's a creek or like the waterfall you saw in the pictures the other day, we take the property line to the center of that creek. When we cut everything out, if it's already drawn on the line. Most of the time it's already drawn on the line when you bought the whole piece of property to the center of the creek or the boundary lines. Mm-hmm. Then we go in there, we bring the surveyors in, and we start cutting these tracks out on paper and on the ground. We go off the pins that were originally set for all the corners, and we start cutting those tracks. And when we're done with that, we're already doing some, if we own the property already and we're not just doing testing, at that point, we start cutting some roads in and things of that nature. And then we start getting the plats together with the surveyors, cutting everything out. Then we go to the county planning boards and we go to them and we get the plats approved. We also do septic soil testing, not permits for septic systems, but the testing. In the mountains, we have some of the very best septic soil there is on planet Earth. But sometimes, a lot of times up here, we have no shortage of rock either. We do what's called offset septic systems. To where the tank would go on the property that your house is on, but your drain fill lines for your septic system may go on the lot beside of you, front of you, or behind you. Either one. We do a lot of those. And the importance of going ahead and getting the soil test is so we can go ahead and put that on a plat so that if somebody buys a piece of property here that's got one of those systems, then 20 years down the road, somebody else buys another piece of property beside of, but that septic system's on there. Nobody can clash on that. Everything's ironclad. It's platted. It's done. So these offset systems sound complicated, but they are super Simon simple.
Yeah.
But when we get through the planning board, sometimes board supervisors have to approve things for the county, things like that. But most of the time, planning board's it. And we get rocking. We get erosion plans and we go in and we carve out the roads for final. Then we start grading a few lots here or there, and we develop in phases in Fancy Gap. And most everywhere does that. Any of the flatlands do also as well. But we will start with phase one. And I think our developments now, I think there's about 40 phases to everything.
Wow.
But all of our stuff's already cut and platted and done.
So is electricity and all that already at the lots that you guys have up there?
So I'm glad you brought that up. I skipped that point. We call the power company, which up here is Appalachian Power. They send one particular person out to us that deals with us, and we figure out whether we're going to run overhead lines or are we going to be able to bury and not hit rock and bury the line so it doesn't it doesn't get in anybody's view of the mountains,
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I've got one of those coming up next week. I got a guy coming out here for power next week on a road that we fixed back up. Once we have those things in place, we go to grading the lots. Also for water up here, instead of having to have central water systems like you see in most vacation developments, we don't want the expense to be so high on our customers. Central water systems require state testing. They require a lot of different things that cost a lot of money to do.
Yeah.
So we do shared wells in our developments.
Okay.
We'll drill a well, however much water it yields. If it'll yield enough water for 5 houses, that's what we put on there.
Okay.
But you can do a shared well all the way up to 10 houses without having to do state testing. We only go to 7. That keeps the expense down too. We try to keep the expense down for all of our customers and everything that we do and make it super Simon simple. We also have restrictions on our properties too. You don't want to build a $500,000 house and then somebody puts something beside of you that depreciates in value and drops your value down. But it's super Simon simple. We just go in there, we put the roads in, we pave our roads usually after we've built several houses, so we're not walking equipment on asphalt all the time. Things like that. Dad always said, and I've believed it too. I mean, we've paved ourselves in here where it's hard to walk the excavators and dozers around.
Yeah. Now you can't use that equipment. I didn't even thought about that. So many things, so many pieces of that puzzle. So I know you guys have, because you and I have talked about this. You've got some people that come out there and they use this as an investment. Like this is a way to store money, build assets, build over time. And then there's other guys that come out there and this is a second vacation home for them to come hang out at. I know you guys get quite a bit of snow during the winter, you said, up on the mountain. And so some people live up there full time. and they do life up there. I know you guys got snowed in even this year when you were on the mountain. So
We did.
give people an idea, like how does that look if somebody, because I know you had posted the other day about here's how you could actually invest in this property to create some income or create some wealth and use it as a tool. Like talk to people a little bit about that, because that was kind of interesting to me.
Dad had a famous saying that he said all of his life, and I hope I don't mess this up. He would always say, kid, land is the one thing on this planet they ain't making no more of.
That's right.
Makes it extremely valuable. Time is the other thing. With land, you buy a piece of property, and there's certain things that come into play. But when you're buying in the Blue Ridge Mountains, or even in big towns, big areas and suburbs and things of that nature, when you buy a piece of property, it's already grown in value before you even touch it.
Yeah.
But what makes us unique more than anything is we put these developments in. This is a rare opportunity with us, but it still applies to other areas. We put these developments in when gas prices and fuel prices were $1.80 a gallon.
Yeah.
And then a load of stone was $200. Now that same load of stone is $800.
Wow.
So our property prices are lower because we developed in those early years. Now, we do have restricted developments, but that does not mean you can't buy a piece of property from us and just sit on it.
Yeah.
Use it as a savings account, let it increase in value. The first thing, one of the greatest things about us is you buy a piece of property and the trees are grown up on it. And let's say you paid $20,000 for that piece of property. Well, you go in there next day after you close and saw those trees down, you've opened up that view wide open. So you've added another $20,000 as soon as you do that fast. That's a rare opportunity. And that can be done in other areas as well. But the main thing is that's what makes us rare here.
Yeah.
Is being able to do that and increase value immediately. Then you add driveway to this stuff and a house building site where the customer can pull out there and might even add water to it, put the septic system on in. I mean, all you're doing is increase. It's the biggest savings account on this planet that costs minimal money to have, because property taxes are very reasonable up there.
I was going to ask you that, because my property taxes where I'm at are not very reasonable. They're pretty expensive where I'm at. There's a big old school down the street, and they've been building more of them, and they're wanting more money. So
that's
property
right.
taxes where we're at they're pretty expensive. That if you don't have a lot of property taxes, there's really not a whole lot of other expenses there as you're sitting on that property waiting to decide. Because I know you were talking the other day, some of the guys up there, they're buying multiple lots, hanging on to them, and then they're reselling them down the road, turning around and making a profit off of them, cashing out, doing something else. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What is I know you had mentioned a little while back about you might build some more spec houses or something down the road. What's the average home value up there on the mountain right now? Like for what you guys would do with spec house?
Now, if we building a brand new spec house, that house would run, just depending on how elaborate it is, but let's just go with a 1,200 square foot standard 2, maybe 3 bedroom cabin, 1.5 bath at least. That house would run you, if you build it yourself and we line you up with the contractor, I'd run you about $400 to $450 right now.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And interest rates are dropping down.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. And you guys help. I know that's something you just mentioned, because you and I were talking about this a little while back, because I was like, man, I've never built a house like that. And I've seen some of the like the sides of the mountain where these properties are at. Like you're building on the side of a mountain. It's kind of crazy. Which you guys have done this for years, so it's not a big deal. But you've got the contractors already lined up. You already know who can come do the thing, whether it's putting the foundation in, whether it's grading the roads, whether it's knocking everything down, whether it's building the whatever, building the house, doing whatever, the electrical, the plumbing, the whatever. Yeah, you guys line all that up and help them if they need help doing all of that.
Absolutely. And don't charge them one dime to do it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Because that's a little unusual. I would say that's very unusual. So so for somebody out there that's thinking, because I know we have listeners all over the place. I know this could be a way for some of them to potentially invest in property or a house or, like you said, a second home, whatever it might be. Are there most of the tracks the same? Like, because I've seen your pricing, it's a little all over. You've got some that are pretty low, and then some of them that you've got quite a bit of land there that you're selling in one track. Give people an idea of like the size of the properties, that kind of thing that you guys have.
Our average property up here is about an acre and a half. We have, I have quite a few quarter acre tracts. We don't sell any quarter acre tracts by themselves anymore. We put them in 2 lot groups, either side by side or one in front of the other, because of septic rules nowadays. They want you to have a repair area for septics and things like that. And that takes almost a quarter of an acre. But you can absolutely build a house, drill a well if you choose to drill a well, and everything on half an acre up here. No problem. Wow. And that'll support about a 1,200 square foot house, because you're going up. In our restrictions, it's no more than 2 levels above the basement. But I mean, 3/4 loft in the house and all that sort of thing, full basement. I mean, I've got some lots. Yeah, they look like, when a customer pulls up with me and we look at this thing and they're like, well, what can I do with that? That's a straight drop off. Well, I can tell you exactly what you do with that. You get, we send a dozer guy in there that has just absolutely has no fear.
That guy's got to be nuts.
And I'm one of those too.
You sent pictures. You sent a video one day of that guy on the dozer, and I was going, that guy's crazy. Like, I don't know what that guy gets paid, but he better get paid good money to do what he's doing, because that seems like he is crazy.
I'm telling you right now, we didn't expect Daddy to pass away from what he passed away from. I was expecting to find him on an excavator somewhere.
Yeah, rolling down the mountain.
But he would have had a smile on his face.
Yeah, he would have, because he's doing what he loved. Man.
He sure did. But as far as that goes, some of the videos I've posted on Facebook of this new house going in, I'm so glad these people built this house where they did, because it is a prime example of building on the side of a mountain up here. It is a straight drop-off lot, and we stair-step the foundation all the way down. And then they're going to have, on the very far wall out there, which was 14 courses, tallest foundation so far. It was 13 courses, but now it's 14 courses, as tallest we got out here so far of block. And on the front, their deck will go across the front of the block, and then they have a basement right in the center that they can either finish out and have view out the front, or they can turn part of it into a car garage and just drive under the house, and people not even know they're here when they come. You stair step the foundation on these steep lots until you run into rock. And everybody thinks you run into rock, you got to stop right there. Absolutely not, because that's where we're going to. When we dig the foundation out, that's what we're trying to find, is that rock. So you got a solid foundation. Yeah. Only difference is there's no dirt on top of that rock. You're forming it up on top of the rock and going straight to that rock, drilling your rebar in there, holding the concrete in place, and house doesn't slip. About 1,200 square feet, and stair stepping the foundation is how we get by with building on these steeper areas, with an engineered drawing as well.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. And I know you guys have a lot of amenities, because you've been talking about your stocked ponds and other things that are part of the community. Talk a little bit about, like, when somebody joins the community, it sounds like it is a community. Like, people know each other, and
it is.
They get to, it's a pretty tight knit place. Tell people a little bit about that, because I think that's kind of cool.
Like we've always said, we build Christmas cards on the ground. Okay. And little village community, and everybody knows everybody. We all have 4-wheelers up here and mules and all that sort of thing, and ride around and see everybody. But we have 2 stock fishing ponds, one in our Little Waterfalls development, one in our Reflections development. Then we have a drive-through covered bridge padded seats in the windowsill so you can sit down there and listen to the water run underneath it from the creek and read a book, mess with your phone, anything you want to do, have lunch with a picnic table there as well. And then we have a covered 40-foot long butcher block top picnic shelter. Padded seats and all that sort of thing. So, and that's in the big, what we call the big views, those 50-mile views, where you can sit out there with your family, have lunch. The community has gatherings there on a regular basis. I think we've had 3 weddings there, as a matter of fact, in the past. Sure have. But very neat little development. And another thing I'll add to this too, we do single lane roads. It's hard to put dual lane roads in these mountain curves and all these sorts of things. We do single lane paved roads, but a lot of what we have left in tracks are gravel roads. But the main roads leading to these tracks are paved all the way in.
And you guys have done a lot of different things through the years with everything that you've done. So I'm kind of curious now, because I know we've talked a lot about the land. How did your dad get into CBD? How did you guys get into CBD? Because you guys have done the land forever, and now you've got crop processors and all the CBD products too that you guys sell. That seems like it's way off in left field from what you started in. Auto parts, hydroelectric, to land, which the land makes sense. Grandfather, the whole night, that all makes sense. CBD seems a little out there.
I tell everybody all the time, most of the kids my age, when we were 7, 8 years old, we was in a tobacco field priming tobacco in North Carolina. And not me. I was in a turbine hole with a 3/4 drive ratchet with 13 feet of pipe hooked to it, and Daddy's screaming, "Push harder, boy, push harder."
Yeah.
But what we did, we reached a point on the mountain like everybody did across the whole country in 2009 when the recession hit us. The bad recession did. We were dipping in people's cookie jars. People saved all their lives. So most of our deals were cash. They weren't going through the banks and all that sort of thing. So we were able to stay on top. Thought we were going to come through it. Did not. I went and got a job at Lowe's in Mount Airy. And then I went to waste management and drove a roll-off truck for a good little while. And I decided when I was doing that I wanted to go into the roll-off industry. I wanted to start doing sea freight containers because I could see what you could build out of those and things like that. And I wanted to do roll-off dumpsters and things of that nature. Well, Dad, naturally, all the entrepreneurship he had done, I went to him and was talking to him about it, and we were putting things together. A guy that Daddy helped in starting about 1983, come up in hydro. The guy knew everything about hydro. It was just the legal stuff that he needed some help with. Dad helped him when nobody else would. And Dad had aged out and was selling the last hydro plant that we had, and they were eating lunch one day, and the guy, his name was Bruce, got to talking to Daddy about the hemp industry. Well, we piled 6 people in a 5-person car, the car I'm still driving today, and went around North Carolina on a 300-mile trip in one day.
Wow.
In 2018, Cory, we didn't know what a hemp plant was. By 2019, April of 2019, we had a full-blown operation, and we're putting the first crop in the field.
Wow.
And got into it. We grow hemp, or we did. I haven't grown in a few years now because we're after the oil that's on the plant to make our CBD products. We grow it. We cure it sort of like tobacco was in the day, and then we turn around and we process it in our own facility through a long strategic process. Then we take that oil that we get off of those herbs, and we turn around and through scientific chemistry drawn formulas, we turn that into tincture oil, pain creams, and we also have a lab that we deal with out west that makes gummies for us as well.
Yeah.
We do a whole range of gummies. We do sleep gummies, standard full spectrum CBD. Everything I do is full spectrum.
Tell people what that means. What is full spectrum? Like I hear all these terms and I'm like, I don't know what any of that stuff means. What does that mean?
I'm sorry. I should have explained that better.
No, you're
I'm
all
sorry.
good.
Full spectrum means you're getting every single element that plant has to offer. Or anything. In the pharmaceutical industry, you hear full spectrum all the time. That means it's got everything that has to offer. There are thousands of elements in the hemp herbs, but there's 124 significant ones.
Okay.
So we go to the first stage in processing, which we call crude oil, which a term is, I'm sure y'all know very well in Texas.
Very familiar with that in West Texas.
Man, I've confused a lot of people with that term.
I bet you have.
You want me to put what in my body? But that crude oil, as we call it, comes off that plant when we process, and it's got not only the whole 124 significant elements, it's got the thousands of elements too. So if you're one of those lucky people that ain't got no pain, there's something in there besides CBD to help you with inflammation or help you with anxiety, depression, sleep, all those different things. There's just tons and tons and tons of terpenes, all the way down. THC is one of the elements, all the different things. And hemp goes no further than 0.3 of 1 point of THC. So you cannot get high off of hemp. Hemp is what I call the youth part of the cannabis plant. Hemp is incredibly powerful because it is the single biggest inflammation fighter on this planet that is 100% natural all the way through. When we do full spectrum, we're capturing everything. And that's the reason all of my creams, I think you've used some of our creams as well. I mean,
my back's hurting. That cream comes in awfully handy. Yeah, no, it works great. And it's kind of crazy. I told you, like, Michelle because I was whining. Not that I do that, but my back was hurting, and she goes, "Come here," and you had sent her some cream and stuff, and she put it on there, and I bet it wasn't 5 minutes later. I'm sitting there thinking, my back's not hurting anymore. Like it was pretty amazing to me. I'm a believer. There's somewhere in my desk right now. I think it's in that drawer there. Like there's some of that cream sitting there because when my back gets hurt, and I'll rub it on my back. But yeah, it's pretty amazing how fast it works. And I mean, it's, again, like you said, it's just an all natural product. It's not like I don't know. It's just fascinating to me, just how this stuff works. So yeah. So Absolutely. You guys ship it all over the place now, like the everything from the gummies to the creams to the whatever.
Absolutely.
I know you have distributors all over, which is what you were doing when you were here in Texas. You called one of the guys here in Lubbock, and all of a sudden you were out the door, and we're sitting there still in the middle of the sales competition. And you're waving out, "See you guys in a minute." And you're off running around Lubbock talking to a couple of the different locations here and helping them to see some of the products that you have, the sleep gummies and some of the other stuff that you're doing. Snooze Chews. I love that name. Snooze Chews. Yeah. That's a very different product and a very different business to be in than land or hydroelectric or any of the other stuff that you've done. So yeah.
He was an eclectic man.
Yeah, apparently so. That's funny to me. I mean, he had to, like, what age was he whenever you guys looked at that?
Daddy was, when we started in the hemp industry, Daddy had just turned 70.
That is wild that a 70-year-old started completely over. But it just goes to show, man, when you're an entrepreneur, age doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Age doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're 50, 60, 70, 80. It just doesn't matter. Like, you could start completely over from scratch at whatever age, brand new business, brand new everything. Just got to have a desire to do it.
Absolutely. Chase it.
Yeah.
Chase it every day.
What kind of advice do you think he would give you as an entrepreneur today? Knowing all those years of everything that he did, and I'm sure he gave you plenty of advice. It sounds like he didn't hold back. But like, what advice do you think he would give you that you're like, man, this would be something that'd be worth sharing?
hang in there and don't give up.
Yeah.
Hang in there and keep on and push through. There were so many things that we did together over the years that, I mean, I was like, I don't know how we're going to get anything out of this.
Yeah.
And then we
Kind of like
would
that
just keep
marshland
on.
that your grandfather died. That he bought.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm like, I just don't see this. I
Yeah.
don't see this. And then we would just keep on working at it. And then boom, one day, there it is.
Yeah.
And that's literally how everything in his life was, and everything's been in my life too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a lot of things since he passed, and I've hung in there and believe in what you do. Don't go into something that you don't believe in.
Yeah.
I believe in the hemp industry. I love the mountain. I mean, it's I'd given anything to grow up here. I love this place. Believe in what you do, and it'll come.
I think a lot of the things that you and I both have seen, because I'm sure you and your dad both and your grandfather went through the same things that I've gone through. My dad went through. I mean, I watched Dad almost, like, there was a point where he almost had to shut the doors back in the 80s when the oil field went kaplunk, because there just wasn't any money. Like, people weren't spending any money. Nothing was happening. I remember Dad just barely pulling any cash out of the cash register, hoping that, you know, next week would be better than that week, you know, and just enough for us to be able to buy groceries and pay the bills and do the thing. And I don't know how long. I just remember as a kid going with him to the bank and him, you know, trying to get a loan to be able to make it through, and the bank looking at him going, Mr. Long, you don't have any assets to, like, the business isn't really creating anything for us to be able to loan you any money. He's like, well, that's why I'm here. Like, that's the whole point. Like, let's get through this time. The oil field will come back. It always does. And so that was interesting times looking back. But you're right. A lot of people end up getting into entrepreneurship. They buy a business, they start a business, and when it gets hard, they just give up. They think, well, I'll just go back to working for somebody else. And some people aren't built for this. Like, you gotta be a little crazy, like that guy with the dozer on the side of the mountain. Like, you got to be a little crazy to run a business. It's not made for everybody. Not everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. But the people that do, if you stick with it, have something you believe in, know that something, like your grandfather, for whatever reason, he believed that property was going to be worth something. And there, you know, that says a lot too, that there are many times that we have gut feelings about things. I really feel like this is going to go, or I really feel like this is something that's going to happen down the road. And man, I pushed through things when I was willing. There were times when I just wanted to shut the doors. I was like, I'm just done. We pushed hard. We've done all that, and I'm just done. So yeah, I think that's great advice. Great advice to give somebody that's out there. So what's the, I asked you earlier, I asked you, like, what's the plan after you sell us mountain land? Because you got all the mountain land, you got the CBD company right now. Those are the two main businesses that you run. I know you've got some other things that you've thought about doing, the or the roll-offs and the dumpsters and the seat. When you and I first met, I think we talked about that, because I think you were looking at doing the marketing and stuff for that business and growing that business. Is that something that you would still want to get into down the road?
It might be, but my passion has always been buying and selling equipment.
Oh, yeah.
And I love heavy equipment, and excavators.
You
and
grew up driving all those things.
Yeah, sure did. And sales, it'll be something to do with sales. I love to talk to people. I'm probably a little too long-winded a lot of times. I don't mean to be, but but at the same time, it's something I'm working on.
I love it. You know what though? The bottom line is it sounds like you grew up kind of the same way I did. My dad knew everybody. Like, he was a sales guy through and through. He knew everybody. Anywhere we went in town, everybody, hey, Kim, like, they all knew him. He was great at what he did. He was a great sales guy. He didn't really, he quit high school in 11th grade. He walked out on his teacher in 11th grade. My dad did. He was just one of those kind of guys that he knew what he wanted and he went after it. And once he had started the business and kind of got into that, he didn't really understand business, but he could sell. He could talk to people. Just same thing that you said. So your ability to talk to people, my ability to talk to people, like, that's something that AI is never going to replace that. Nothing's ever going to replace that. Like that's something that attention and the ability to have a conversation, to build trust, to grow a relationship. That stuff is, you can't measure that stuff. Like it's huge. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
And I will add one more thing to
yeah.
what I was talking about with equipment and everything.
Yeah.
I will always invest in land. I'll always keep something going. I don't know if I'll build a big development again or anything, but we will always invest in land all over the country.
Well, I've seen you guys have your mountain home, and then you also have a lake house or something that you're always at.
Yeah,
That's beautiful too.
That's our family place. That's another place. My grandpa developed land down there, as a matter of fact, and that's a whole family lake house there.
Isn't that cool? So I know this. You're literally, your family is a legacy entrepreneurs. Like this is grandfather, your dad, you. Your kiddos are out running mowers and stuff right now, I would bet, aren't they? Yep, because they're doing the same thing that you did. They started a business too, didn't they? Yeah. Talk a little bit about like that as far as growing up in a family of entrepreneurs and then now teaching your kids about that.
I mean, I always, since I was knee high to a bullfrog, I mean, I always, looked up to Dad and Mom too, and I watched what they did. And Daddy always said, as soon as he could climb in the floorboard of the pickup, he was with me. Which I'm sure you were too.
I went everywhere with Dad. Like he literally, when I was potty training, he would take me on scout trips. We went Boy Scout trip. Like that was whatever Dad did. He had me with him pretty much all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the way to grow up right there. Always wanted to, I wanted to do what he did. And then when I grew up, I kind of strayed away for a minute or two. I have some regrets about that. I went and worked a few jobs and did some traveling with one of the jobs and things like that. And I always knew that I needed to come back towards Dad because he could teach me all of those things that I needed to know. And he did. I came to the mountain in 2004. He started in the year 2000. My brother was actually up here with him when he was cutting all this out. But I was up here on weekends and things like that when I was out of school. He started that up here, and I came about 2004, and I had lost a job at the Valspar Corporation. They laid us off once, then they called us back, and they laid us off completely. They shut the whole place down that time in Thomasville, North Carolina. And Dad knew I needed some work and everything. He's like, just come up here to the mountain and work when you want to and all that sort of thing. Well, next thing you know, I'm living here. I mean, I fell in love with it. But I learned so much from him. But the main thing that I learned from him that I have passed on to my kids, no matter how hard it is, do it. Yeah. If you believe in it, do it. And my son, my youngest boy, I am proud of all three of them. I have three children. My daughter starts college this year, as a matter of fact. You've already been through that, so you know what that's
already
like.
Been through that, man. I'm glad I'm done that. That phase is done. Yeah.
But you're going to have to give me some pointers on where that money comes from.
Dude, I don't have a clue. I just know it all went out. Every bit of it went out. I don't even want to think about all the money we spent in that 5 or 6 years, whatever it was. I don't know.
Absolutely. And my oldest boy, he is very interested in the automotive industry. He's interested in mechanicking.
Oh, great job. Great career. Great everything.
Absolutely. We need all the mechanics we can get. That's for sure. And Jesse, my youngest boy, when I was working at Lowe's when the recession was going on, I needed another job as well. And I was certain I wasn't going to work for somebody else on my second job. So I started a little lawn care business. And I kept that thing going for 10, 11, 12 years, something like that. And last year, I had backed that thing all the way down to 5 yards. That was all I had. And Jesse had been with me on that thing since he was still in a car seat. And he just always said, I want to mow. And so last year, I kind of cut him loose some, and he's 2 years now. He's been doing the mowing. But last year, he took that 5 yards and turned it into 18 last year. And we're starting this season with last count was 24.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Good for him,
and
man.
he sold all this himself. I mean,
How
he
old
just
is he?
went
Is he
around the
16?
development. 14.
He's 14.
14.
He can't even drive the pickup to triple the equipment around.
But he does. Our developments. A lot of his yards right here needs development. As a matter of fact, my pickup is a 6-speed truck, and rarely does a transmission go out in a 6-speed pickup. Transmission went out in that truck. I've got a dump truck. He's driving that dump truck around with the landscaping trailer behind it, him and his brother, and mowing yards. He does not quit. And if that goes down, while I was in Lubbock, as a matter of fact, he called me and said the starter went out on the dump truck. He'd already pulled it and everything.
Dude, I love that, though. How many 14-year-olds are ambitious and want to go do that kind of thing? And I know that mowing yards is hard. Like, that's hard work. I enjoy it personally. I don't mind any of that kind of stuff.
I do too, a lot.
It's a great business model, honestly. Like, there's a ton of money in it. It's a great business model. It creates income. It's consistent year after year. People are going to get their yards mowed no matter what's going on. And so, man, good for him, man. That's exciting. What's interesting is you were ruined at some point to work for somebody. You said it a minute ago, I ain't working for anybody else on that second job. Like, you ruin yourself to work for other people, and your son, he's already ruined. He's done. He's ruined.
He's right.
Like, he ain't ever going to work for anybody.
Yeah, that's it. That is it.
I love that.
My oldest boy, he won't either. My daughter's going to be. My wife will shoot me when she watches this if I get it wrong, but she's going to be. Let me just tell you what. Let me define what she's going to do. So I
okay.
She's going to be the assistant nurse to the people that put you to sleep when you have surgery.
Oh, nurse anesthetist.
Yep, nurse anesthetist. Okay. I always get it wrong, and my wife gets all over me. And
that's what my brother-in-law does. Too. He's a nurse anesthetist. Yeah.
And she's going into that.
She's
worked hard all the way through school.
Yeah, that's a great field. That's a great field. He actually teaches. He's down in Houston area. He's a nurse anesthetist for heart surgeries or something like that, and then he also teaches at the school down there. So he's had a great career in it. It's been a very, very good career for him. So good for her, man. Yeah. So I think that's something that for us, I've watched our daughter. She works at hospitals too, doing CT and X-ray and all that, and then she also started her little jewelry business, and she wants to work for herself. And she and I have talked a lot about her opening a jewelry store of some kind soon. Again, something else that AI is not going to take over mowing yards, not in the way that your son's doing. AI is definitely going to take over mechanic work. That's something somebody has to have knowledge and experience. Like it's just a different kind of thing. And somebody's always going to have to be there to do the anesthesiology stuff. Like somebody's going to have to do that and do it correctly. And I keep telling Alexa, I'm like, any of the things that you're doing right now are great because AI is not replacing any of that. Like it's you're going to be able to be there and do those jobs for years to come and make good money at it and have a good life, do whatever it is that you want to do. And you can do it anywhere. Like there's nothing that your kids are doing that they couldn't go anywhere they want to go and do it. So yeah, that's exciting, man.
My wife's a nurse also at Baptist Hospital in Winston-Salem, Wake Forest Baptist. She's an OR nurse down there. She's been a nurse for almost 20 years now, and so Savannah's following right along behind her. And my brother's a physician's assistant, and my sister-in-law is a nurse practitioner. So I got away from the medical field.
Yeah. Well, you and I would not, that is not where you need to be, man. That is not where we need to be.
If I did surgery, I would pass out every 5 seconds from seeing the blood.
Yeah, that would not be a good plan. Not be a good plan.
Don't like the red stuff.
Yeah, I get that. Well, tell people if they want to find you online. I know you have the Mountain Land, and I know you have the CBD products and all that. Tell them where to find you online right now if they were interested, because I know There may be people that may be interested in land, development, a house, maybe as an investment. I don't know. Where would they find you for the land right now?
So for the land, mountainlandvirginia.com.
That's about as easy as it gets.
Yep, that's it.
Mountainlandvirginia.com. And they can find
all spelled out.
The lots, all the information. And I think that number goes to you, right? Off of that website.
It does.
If they have any questions or anything, they can call, talk to you,
correct,
walk through all that with you.
The old website is still up. We have a brand new website built and going into place under the same domain name. And it,
nice.
So if you go today, you'll see one thing, but next week it'll, or week after next, it'll all be up to date, and the new site will be published on there under the same domain. And then for CBD products, we have two websites.
Okay.
First one is our original cropprocessors.com. It's cropprocessors.com. And we bought another CBD company about 2 years ago called Hobgood Hemp. And that website is hobgoodhemp.com.
Nice. And that's where they can go get the pain cream, snooze chews, all the other goodies that you guys make. And if they have any questions about that, I know that you and I have chatted a lot about different things over time. You're very knowledgeable about what does what, how it works, what's the best thing for whatever the ailment is or whatever the issue is. And so I know that you guys are really great about answering any of those questions. Or if somebody has a CBD or a smoke shop or something else where they want to put, or I know you go into chiropractors, you go into doctor's offices, you guys have your products into all kinds of different places. So
we do
any kind of
even antique stores.
Yeah, that's a different one.
It is.
Go into the antique store and get your antique whatever and get you some CBD gummies while you're at it. Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. Man, Charlie, thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing, because this is a great reminder that most people need to hear. Success doesn't come from knowing more. It comes from doing more. We actually have to go take action. What you showed is this: opportunities are everywhere, but they only respond to action, just like with your father and your grandfather. To our listeners, here's a challenge. What's the call that you've been avoiding? What's the move that you've been overthinking? What would happen if you just executed today what you already know that you need to do? Because momentum doesn't come from clarity. Clarity comes from momentum. You got to take action. This episode pushed you to take action. Do 3 things. Subscribe to the show, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to stop thinking and start moving. Until next Thursday, keep forging forward, stay aligned with your calling, build with clarity, confidence, and conviction, because this is the forge where leaders are made and legacies are built.